Good morning. So today we'll be taking a look at Fangry from the Worlds Collide Buzzworthy Bumblebee set, and this is one of the figures that came in the 4-pack, which is a very odd choice in my opinion. Fangry is one of the original Junior Headmasters. That's a very strange moniker. It reminds me of the Junior Ghostbusters, which were never interesting or cool. So the Junior moniker is there. And yeah, he was one of the 3 Decepticon Headmasters, most prominently seen in the Super God Master Force anime, which aired in Japan, not in the US. But anywho, he could just be considered one of the original Headmaster Decepticons for all intents and purposes. And his release makes me kind of giddy because now I'm thinking that we might eventually get to see his other 2 partners, which would be Squeeze Play and Horrible. So, you're going to see that Fangry here is basically a remold of the Grotesque figure from, I think it came out in Titan's Return. Might have been Power of the Primes, but I'm pretty sure Grotesque came out in Titan's Return as an exclusive, and he had, his head gimmick back here that flipped over, and it uses the same kind of legs as Repugnus and Double Cross or Twinferno if you'd like. And yeah, it's basically the same. There's a few new parts added here, but the transformation is essentially the same. You've got some new things going on here, such as the classic Speed Strength Intelligence meter, which in the original figure would indicate to you his stats in those categories when you plugged in his Headmaster. Now, Fangry's Headmaster is almost the same as the Titan's Return Fangry. Don't fall over, please. So here is, let me get the camera to focus, and here is Fangry from Titan's Return. You can see it's the same face plate, and when we flip this over, you'll notice the difference. So yes, this is colored fuchsia plastic on black plastic, whereas this one had just paint colored plastic. So it's the same mold with different plastic in different areas. You're gonna see that Briscoe here, the Headmaster partner, has a painted in face, whereas the original was just an ordinary plain looking black colored plastic head. But the front face plate for the robot body appears to be the same. Yeah, even they're about the same, but this one, the new one, is a slightly lighter tinge of green. It almost looks like this one has 2 coats of paint, whereas this one just has 1 coat of paint. And they didn't give Fangry any kind of weapons, although you could take the Titan's Return Fangry figure and plug him in as a kind of cannon. So what does that look like? Well, I don't know. It'll probably look absurd, just like everything else, but that's what we love, don't we? Don't we? Okay. All right. Let me get this guy's head to plug back in. All right. And yeah, the connection is pretty secure. It's not going to flop around. It's nice and snug in there. So what does this look like with Fangry holding Fangry? This is all kinds of wrong, isn't it? So that's what that looks like. I mean, they should have just given him a weapon. I mean, I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind that. Maybe they said, I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is behind that, but this is the only solution that I can come up with right now. So you can hunt down the original Fangry figure and give him a mini version of himself as a sort of triple snouted cannon. And then just leave the original Titans Return figure, you know, as his little buddy pal, I suppose. All right. What about his articulation? Well, his articulation is pretty much the same as Grotesque's. You know, you've got outward movement here in the shoulders. There is a bicep rotation. The bicep can bend at the elbow. There is no movement of the wrists, although it can move into the forearm, but that's due to transformation. The front skirt has a flap here that you can move, so you can get a nice deep bend there. So if you wanted to, you could get up to about 90, a little under 90 degrees, about 80 degrees there. You do have a knee bend. You have a thigh swivel. It's nice and tight thigh swivel. And you don't really have any kind of ankle articulation, but the foot can point inwards or outwards. And because these are such nicely built legs, they will be able to accommodate Fangry. Although on my figure, the knees are a little bit loose, so he has a tendency to kind of just want to flop right over. So that's unfortunate for me. Hopefully you guys are a little bit better. Another complaint that I have is that this fuchsia plastic, the mold that I received, has a whole lot of factory burrs and little scraplets of things hanging off the back, which kind of makes this figure look a little bit cheap in hand. And I don't know if this is a common issue, but it's definitely something that I received on my figure, so hopefully you guys will look out a little bit better than I did. Let's see, what else? The wings appear to be transparent wings with painted on gray plastic. I wish they were just gray plastic. I don't know why they have to use the transparent plastic. I think that's just begging for it to crack and shatter, especially with a figure that is so rare like this. You have to essentially buy 3 other figures to get this guy, which, you know, they know what they're doing, but well, what can you do? All right, so you got some painted on blue paint right there. It's a kind of glimmery, shimmery plastic, but for the most part, you just have colored plastic versus painted on. The only painted on areas that I can see are here on the skirt, these 3 lines on this plastic. Obviously the head for Briscoe is painted, and the wolf head, we'll see, has painted in green eyes and white teeth. Is there anything else? The feet are also gray. No. I'm not sure what color plastic these are. I think they're actually black plastic with painted gray painted on, and some fuchsia painted on as well. And what else you can do? You can fold out the wings like this. You can fold it back like so. If you have a copy of Grotesque or Repugnus or a Twin Inferno, then you pretty much know how this figure works. So I'll just go ahead and transform him into Fangry now. So we're going to remove the headmaster and tuck him away into his little compartment here. This is new for me, and so you'll want to take your thumb under this circular knob here and just move that up and away. And this is a little door that is connected here at the hinge, so you want to be careful with that. Grab the door like this, open it up, and there is a port here that connects to this, so you can close those together if you wish. Then you can take little Briscoe here and have him sit inside of his cockpit. Just sit down inside, and we'll close him up and close up this hinge, which is much tighter. Okay, now we'll go, well, where should we start? Let's go ahead and start with the hands. We'll tuck those hands away on either side, and then you have to kind of turn them around here at the shoulder so that they face outward like this, and then you're going to bring the wolf hands around like so. Okay, we'll do the same thing on the other side. It's kind of tricky with the wings kind of being in the way. Bring out the wolf hand, just like that, and then we'll go ahead and work on the feet. So this is going to swing out like that, and you're going to move that out of the way, bring the thigh around. Let's get these out of here and move it like so. So that's what it looks like all around. Let's go ahead and close up the tail. You don't have to close it up all the way, just leave it hanging open slightly, and then the original robot foot is going to turn around. And now let's get the wolf feet out too, because this part's a little bit tricky. We'll move this thigh piece out of the way, and now as we come to the back, we have to kind of get this part to tab underneath here at the third segment, but that's a little hard to do unless the other part is also moved out of the way. So we're going to do that now and move this so that we have everything lining up where it should. So let me move this around. Let me move these hands out of the way. Okay, now we have things more or less about to tab in together. You can see that the wolf tail is going to tab in. So they're going to tab in here. Move these chicken legs out of the way first. Kentucky Fried Chicken. All right, connect these and these. Are kind of very flexible plastic, so they're not going to quite, they're not going to really want to work very well together. They're going to kind of feel a little bit loose. Okay, but that's all right, because now we can go ahead and get the tail to plug in at the hips. So this is just going to, you have to pretty much just line it up perfectly, and now the tails come undone. You kind of have to wrestle a little bit with it, and there's a very specific way you have to put all this together. All right, hang on. Basically, you're supposed to just get these tabs in there, but it's kind of hard to do, so I'll be right back. All right, thank you. A little bit of off-camera magic did the trick, and I was able to get these to tab in finally, and the tail is all seamed up. So that's what you're trying to do. Now, get these wolf feet to come out like so, and on this side, and there you go. Now you can finally stand. So this is it's kind of an odd stance. I think we'll have him go like this. And let's get the arms down a little bit now. So that's what you got. Now here is the moment that I've been waiting for, and I'm sure that you have too. This is very interesting. The way that the robot head, the wolf head, transforms has a bit of an auto transform gimmick. So when you move it over, you're going to see that the wolf mouth will open on its own. And as it does so, it gets wider and wider, supposedly because he's getting angrier, because he's Fangry. Or maybe they should have named him Hangry. Maybe he just wants a chili dog. But anyway, watch this. Okay, so now he's Fangry. Now he's really Fangry. Yeah, look at that jaw. It is flippin' huge. And the way that it does the little trick here, it's got some kind of mechanism that is kind of like on a wheel, so that it opens up as you plug that sucker in. So that is very cool. It is a very fun thing to do back and forth. I'm not sure actually if you can close up the wolf mouth in this mode. I did try to close this up, but it was giving me some resistance, and I don't want to force it, so that's how it's going to be for now. Now, he can stand on his hind legs without requiring to set the tail down, although it's a little bit unbalanced. And because the wings have a kind of like a square ended end here where they connect to the joints on the shoulders, you have the option to set them in this position, or back like so. And these ports will support a weapon if you decide to do so. So you can have them have a weapon stored up there like so if you wanted to. And although this isn't really a Tides in Return Fangry review, you could get this little guy situated next to him, and he could be his little Fangry brother. And why don't we give him a little belly too? So this is pretty much Fangry from the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line. And putting this in wrong here. You need to figure out how to go. This goes in. I think this goes in like so. Now, yeah. There they are, like father and son. How about some size comparisons? Well, here's another. Let's get another headmaster to compare with. Here we have Ape Face in his gorilla mode. All right, that's how those guys look. And let us get another Titan Master. Here is, I think this guy's name is, what is this guy's name? Roadburner? Roadfire? It's something to do with fire and roads, I believe. This is the guy from the Big Powered set, so that's what those guys look like compared next to each other. And why not have our big guy Optimus Prime make an appearance? Why not? That is what these two look like next to each other. So he's not a huge figure, and he's pretty much just what you expect from a deluxe. Again, if you've got a copy of Grotesque or Repugnus, this is all going to seem very familiar to you. But again, I'm hoping that we do eventually get Squeeze Play and Horrible so that the trio are together. I think they will. I think that I've been hearing a lot of rumors from the Legacy line that comes after War for Cybertron, and you know, perhaps we will get those guys, and maybe the Headmaster Juniors that were on the Autobots side, such as Cab and Ghost Shooter and Minerva. We got their heads. We got at least the Takara version heads. We got those. So what I was trying to do is find a way to get this flight stand in there. However, I can see that the port is situated in a very awkward area that is going to be hard to get that in there. So this is not exactly the best figure to get into a flight stand. Actually, you might want to get one of those that have like little hooks that go around the waist and just hold that guy up in the air like so. If you wanted to. Flying Wolf, lizard guy. And actually, before we end this thing, the way that I would like to end this is by utilizing the Titan Master posts here on the back. Let's get this thing going. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. And voila. It's a thing that you can do. How about that? Alright, guys. Thank you so much for your time. See you next time.